Your sudoriferous secrete sweat, ceruminous secrete cerumen, which is earwax. And back in the day when we were cavemen, the reason the body had that produced it was because they had to lay on the ground, right, in caves with cave spiders and bugs, and I probably wouldn't have made it, but they were there and things would crawl in their ear, and that's a natural, like a glue or a trap for bugs. So the bugs would get in the night and they would get stuck in their cerumen. Good thing, it kept the bugs from eating their way through to your brain. The bad thing is it clogged up, and so they couldn't hear when that dinosaur was chasing them, and they got eaten. But, weigh your options. So just think about that. That's really literally where it was. And of course now, modern day, we clean our ears with swabs and stuff, but to keep it built up. Some people don't, and they have to go and get them washed out. You can go to ear, nose, and throat doctor, and they have like a little water pick tool, and it just rinses it out, and it'll come out and looks like a cat fur ball. If you've ever seen a cat throw up a fur ball, that's exactly what it looks like coming out.
Really good.
Disgusting. Smells horrible. But that's what it was for, maybe mainly to protect the ear canal from foreign body invasion like insects. And then the sebaceous glands secrete sebum or oil, S-E-B-U-M. That's oil. And we need that to protect us from being too dried out, right? And to lubricate our body and our skin. Again, if we couldn't move around, our skin's so dry in the winter, how your skin gets so dry, it cracks open, it hurts, right? And then what happens if we have an opening in our skin? What can crawl in there? Bacteria. So the sebaceous glands secrete oil to lubricate our skin and inhibit bacterial growth. Okay. It decreases with age. That's why you have to start putting on the wrinkle cream and lubricating up good. Those old ladies like that Carrie lotion because it's real oily. They like it. They swear by it. Okay. When you're doing your assessment of your skin, we'll talk about that in a minute. Just kind of looking with your eyes and your ears, not your ears, your eyes and your fingertips to look around and see what's going on. Sometimes you're looking not just for bed sores, but moles. A lot of people have issues with skin cancer or moles, and so you always ask about that. Have they had a family history of anything like that in their family, or if they've had asthma and allergies? They always usually tend to have eczema. Asthma, allergies, and eczema always go together in threes, so they'll have patches of dry skin on their bends, backs of their knees, elbows, around their neck, eczema. So you're going to be looking for that too, okay? You're going to inspect in natural light. You don't want it to be dark. You're just going to use your sight, touch, and then maybe smell. If there's something there that looks suspicious, you might smell it. Not get down in it and sniff, but you're going to smell it. Always wear gloves. And then, like I said earlier, bath time is a great time to assess for that. And then you palpate to make sure, like, if it's puffy or if it feels strange to you, okay? Your eyes, your ears, your nose, and your fingertips. Those are your best tools. Excuse me. Same thing we kind of went over. Just going to ask them about any kind of recent skin allergies or rashes, any kind of lesions. They might say, oh, I've had this bump come up here and there, and it kind of comes and goes. You need to know about it. Document where it was. If they have any kind of allergies to anything, it needs to be documented. If it's itchy or not, because some rashes aren't itchy. If it's painful or not, if it's burning or not, and then any recent color skin changes in it, because changes of any kind means something's growing, or if it's a mole, it could be advancing. So we always look for, has it always been this color, or have you noticed it changing? Is it getting darker? Is it getting bigger? Things like that. And then you also ask about sexual activity. Why do you think that's important when we're talking about skin? We're not even in the same neighborhood. Why is that one up there? What happens in some STDs? You get a rash, right? You get something that doesn't go away. So it could be. So if you notice there's a rash in any part of their body, always ask them, say, are you sexually active? When was your last, recent? I mean, you have to get personal. When was your last, sexual activity? Do you have multiple partners? Things like that, because it could be the cause of one of their rashes. Right? checking, wearing your gloves, you're looking at the color of the skin, the whole skin, not just the lesions or the lesion that needs like a mole. Okay? You look at lesions for size, shape, and color. And then you look for self-injury or mutilation, like maybe cutters. People that have cut or burn themselves, that could be self-inflicted or they're being abused. So you're going to watch for that. And then look for old surgical scars. Again, you're a detective, so you're going to find scars somewhere and you'll be like, what's this scar from? Oh, it's when I had my gallbladder out. What's this one here? Oh, I had my appendix. What's this one here? Oh, I had a heart attack 3 times. Kind of gives you a history, right? So look at those and always ask about them, whether you know it or not, because they may tell you something that you need to know to take care of the patient. Always look at tattoos and piercings. They're very common now, and they can get infected. So you want to look at those and make sure that they're not getting infected or irritated. And tattoos that cover large areas, you want to really be careful and look closely, because that tattoo can cover up maybe a lesion or something that's cancer, skin cancer. So you always look really good and feel. See if you can feel anything over the tattoos, because it kind of blends in. Okay, nail beds, color and shape. You want them to be not humped and rounded like ET, because that means something else is going on. You want them to be normal. You don't want you look for fungus, the color, the shape, if they're overgrowth, if they have a lot of yellow underneath them, things like that. And then ask them about excessive sweating, because sweating too much could be a sign that the thyroid's out of whack. Okay?
What do they mean when they find those fall off?
They probably had a fungus.
Like they grow and they mold it and they just fall off.
It could be fungus, or it could be they've mashed it and it's dead. Once the blood supply's gone to it, it just becomes dead and will fall off. It dries out and falls off. Okay. So what does palpation mean? Feel, touch. So you're going to palpate and make sure you check by palpating. You can first off feel the temperature of the skin. Is it hot to the touch, cool to the touch? Is it the same on both sides? Because if one leg is cool and one leg's hot, it could be a blood clot, right? So you're going to assess the texture too by touch and feel, is it scaly, is it hard, is something raised? Feeling that texture. And then also that's a good time to look to see if they're have enough oil. Like, are they extremely dry? That could be thyroid or med toxicity. So you're looking at all that stuff, assessing. Okay, so if you have a dark complected patient, you're not going to be able to see as much sometimes right off the bat. So you have to do a practice and compare as necessary, like look at all of the areas of their body, not just the tops of their arms. We talked about once you can do mucous membranes, but some other areas that you can check are the lips, their nails, their eyelids, and the palms of their hands and soles of their feet. That gives you a good indication of their circulation, skin color, and make sure that that is working. Darker complected patients are predisposed to certain kind of skin conditions. So they can get pseudofolliculitis, keloids, and Mongolian spots. Pseudofolliculitis, y'all know what that is? Folliculitis is just where the hair follicle has gotten infected and makes a hair bump. And so it looks like they've got those shaving bumps real bad, and it can come up all over. They're real predisposed to that. And then keloids, we talked about that. It's just an overgrowth of the scar. It looks like a real big puffy scar. And then Mongolian spots. All of those are in your book. It has good pictures of them. It's just a dark patch. It's more where the pigment groups there. And it doesn't have to be just in African Americans.
Like where the babies have it on their butt?
Yeah, some it's in Hispanics, African Americans, they can get it. They're red, right? They're kind of like a coffee color.
Like a bruise. You know, they look like a little bruise right there.
You said to check their business fans, feet, what else?
Their gums, like the inside of their mouth, the inside of their cheek, their eyelids, any of those mucous membranes. Yeah, a lot of people just say that's what it is. Yeah. It's just a concentrated area of pigment or melanin. Yeah, they're very common. Let me see, I don't know if there's a picture in here. I thought there was.
Why is it some kids are born with like a strawberry mark, but then they go away?
It's like a stork bite. It's just maybe they had could have been birth trauma.
I've seen a lot of kids that are redheaded.
Yeah, they have a lot of skin allergies. They're high and all that. It could just be where they got during birth, or either a bruise or just pigmentation. They're just
My
resolved.
son's
I always wondered.
here.
My daughter has one real bad on her lip.
And like, he's older now, so kind of like he has like maybe a mustache too. But like when he gets angry or something, it comes out a lot.
I had this girl I used to go to school with, and her little sister was redheaded. She had a huge strawberry mark on her face, huge, but then it went away.
Sometimes they resolve on their own. They reabsorb. Skin is real hard. There's 1,000 different things to know about skin. So those dermatologists, they have a lot to learn because there's 1,000 different rashes.
So is it just African American or darker skin?
Could be both, because some Hispanics have Mongolian spots. I have Mediterranean descent, and I had a birthmark when I was born, but it resolved. Just depends on the melanin.
I have a question.
Stretch marks is just when your skin grows too fast that it can't reproduce fast enough. So if you're growing really fast, really big, really fast, you can just get stretch marks where the skin just stretches out. And then when whatever is making it stretch goes away, whether it be fluid or a baby, it goes back down, but the skin's already stretched out, so it's never going to go back to what it was. At least kind of like a scar. Okay, I have a question. I don't know. Have you ever? I don't even know how to say this. It's CAOGO. It's on page 1291 in that little cultural consideration box. It's the rubbing of the skin with a coin to produce dark blood or ecdysis strips. Has anybody ever seen anybody do that before? Take a coin, almost like the Indian burns that you used to do on the playground that irritate each other. They take a coin and they rub to make it like a mark. It's done to like produce dark blood, or it's done to treat a thrombus, or in the Asian culture, symptoms of the flu. I don't know that it does anything, but that's what they believe. Hernia. Yeah, you have to go away. Yeah. So just know, like I said, color is a poor indication of ways to assess, because in darker complected, you're going to have to look at everything. And if you're the more darker complected, you can't really tell if they're pale or not because they're darker. So you have to look at the palms, you have to look at their soles of their feet and their mouth, and then they're going to look, instead of being like that real pretty pink like we all have, on the inside it'll be very pale, almost yellowy. And that's how you know there's something going on, okay?
It said that we all have red tones, but black people that is seen as ashy or.
I get ashy in the winter if I don't use good lotion.
So when we get ashy, it's really red. I can't wait.
I don't know.
Ashy, baby.
Just put on good lotion. So if you have a patient who has a lesion, this is kind of turned into a big deal in the last several years for skin cancer. Why do y'all think there is a rise in skin cancer? Tanning, daggum tanning beds. All these little girls are in there and they're frying their skin, and it's horrible for them in more ways than one. But it just eats them up. And so we've had a rise in skin cancer and skin lesions. So these little young girls will come in and they've got this mold that hadn't been there and it grew really fast. And then you check them and they're like stage 3 cancer. So when you're looking at skin, always think about that and look. You want to do this is a little cheat sheet they give you, a PQRST. You look for the provocative and palliative factors. What caused it? So she comes in and say, how long has it been there? Have you been out in the sun a lot? Well, I lay in the tanning bed every night for 30 minutes. That's your factor right there. Quality and quantity, characteristics and size. Remember how I said we measure a wound, width and depth? You're going to do the same with a mole or lesion. And then where it's at in the body, always important to document it. That's when you're going to use your directional terms, proximal, distal, wherever it is. Severity of the signs and symptoms. like how fast, if it came up in a month, there was nothing there, and now a month later, that fast it grew, you know, so, just know those, and you're gonna make sure that you document it, and then the length, the time, how long it's been there, okay? They'll say, it just was nothing, it was flat, and now it's puffy and crusty. That's what you wanna know, that's your severity, okay? So know that PQRST, because that's gonna be on your test, I'll tell you that right now.
What test? What the?
Your unit test, yeah.
Okay.
I like to ask you about those little cheat sheet kind of things because that's what's gonna help you remember in real life.
What is the first one say?
It's provocative and palliative, and these are all on your grade book, so you can go back and look at your slides if you need it. Because this, I don't know why it's so small today. It won't enlarge. I'm sorry.
Who gave me their email? I made the graphs for you. Yeah, that's the email that I sent her.
Do you want me to make copies? Do we have copies? And those are just things you're gonna need to know when that's part of your assessment. Those are all, it's just a good way for you to remember PQRST. I have to know where, you know, what to ask. That's what you're gonna be asking your patient. You wanna know the exact location, length, width, and, you know, appearance of a lesion. Okay? Now, when you're looking at a mole and you're assessing the changes and growth of a mole, they go by the ABCDE. Okay, this is another way to remember it. Is the mole asymmetrical? Do y'all know what symmetrical means? Yeah, symmetrical means it's the same on both sides. So let's say this is your mole, and if you took a ruler or something, you put it in half, it's going to be the exact same on both sides. That means it's symmetrical. It's symmetry. It's exact. If you were to cut it in half, like that way. If it's asymmetrical, that means it's irregular on one side. It's not going to be the same. So this side may look like this. Is that symmetrical or asymmetrical? Asymmetrical. Yeah, because it's not equal and even on the same side. You couldn't just fold it over and let the edges match. So it's asymmetrical. That's more dangerous when they're asymmetrical because that means that this stuff is growing fast and crazy. These cells. Okay? And then you look at, are the borders irregular? So the B stands for borders. Normally we want it to be a perfectly smooth, round border. And if any of you have a mole or a freckle, you can kind of look. And it's going to be pretty much smooth. All right? If it's irregular borders, it kind of looks jagged, like it's real rough. Okay? Because if this is cancerous cells, they're growing really fast, and so it makes that jagged appearance because they're growing fast.
Make this one on my finger. It looks like that.
Let me see your asymmetrical mole. Holy moly! No, that's just a freckle. And then see how you can feel it. I know, I've been waiting. So those are your irregular borders, and that's dangerous if it's irregular. Okay? And then for C, you look at the color. Is it the same color all the way through, or is this side like a real pretty coffee color, and then this one over here is just dark black with speckles in it? That's going to be dangerous because the colors are different. These are growing a lot faster, and they're dangerous cells. They're cancer cells. Okay? And then the diameter. Like I said, if you 3 months ago it was this size, and then you come back. Now 3 months later, it's like this. That's a lot bigger, right? It's grown in 3 months. So you look at the diameter. Has it changed? Before it was this size, and now it's this size. A lot different, right? Fast growth is dangerous when you're talking about moles. And then has the surface become elevated? So when you're putting your hand over it, rubbing it across the skin, if it's smooth, then it's not elevated. But if you feel bumpy texture over that mole, then that's elevated. And that's dangerous too, because that is hyperplasia. Those cells, those cancer cells, are just bubbling and boiling over, and now they've grown on top of each
So
other.
if a person have a lot of moles on their face, that's dangerous.
Well, it depends on what kind.
And it's like,
Are they A, B, C, D, E? If it's just a small spot that looks like somebody just took a paintbrush and dotted you, that's a freckle.
So
They're like,
anything bumpy is,
no, they're like
Needs to be
bumpy.
checked.
so is this a freckle?
Like blood bumpy.
Y'all are all gonna have a skin check.
Like,
Freckles are okay, but if it's like bumpy, asymmetrical, uneven, things like that, those are skin check.
My grandma has some.
I know, I have too.
But I tried.
Yeah,
And then that's my
Oh, yeah.
You tell her to there's no way you guys can have them say, and then you know, they're like,
Well, you'll bleed a little.
No, there's like, I'm not just saying. My sister. Oh, I couldn't even see
All right, y'all wanna take a break and you can go all assess your molds?
Yes. That I eat fried chicken this time.
No, I'm just saying any kind of fried food that way.
I don't eat nothing. I eat bacon all the time.
You can look it up.
Let me see your freckle, girl. I have one. Get out of here. Right there. So I want to see somebody who actually got a mole. I ain't
Go
never
outside
seen
and
it.
get some melanin.
Look on your regular and see.
You already got
Look at
melanin, girl.
it and see if she's
You need, we get vitamin D.
What is the opposite of melanin?
No,
No, I know.
It will make you feel a lot though, 'cause I had one, I had a mole on my leg, and, you know what choke is? Like carpet that they put on. It rubbed it off, and I had to use it, right, 'cause it was-
It's the one I got those dogs.
I don't know if I did that.
all of these.
Is it this one?
I would like one, please. If you're gonna make pie.
Oh, it's another cookie.
Oh. She's like, of course you do. Of course you do.
Yeah.
Let's go and check that. What is? I know the first thing was.
Mystery cookie.
It's like a ginger.
Really?
Okay, I'm gonna Pinterest ideas for. I got chapter 7. Chapter 11, chapter 4.
Yeah, you'll have little pieces and put it in your water. But leave your little one, like, you can leave your little one and it's gonna fit. And then you can shake that.
I'm at 84. I know what I missed too. It's a trick question.
Not Retta, she doesn't
And
do
I
trick
said,
questions.
I know it's all 3 of them, but I'm just gonna pick one. I knew it. I knew
There
it.
you go, listen to your brain, right?
I told her, I said, I knew that.
Don't
I knew that. At least I had. I knew it.
It's not us.
Yeah, right, it's on there, but it is, yeah. I'm just looking at it. On Pinterest. It's behind there. And,
Did you see the one with the chicken?
that's really cool.
Did you see the one with the chicken?
Not yet.
Pinterest too.
No, I haven't.
This is exactly what I was thinking of.
That's really cool.
What number is that class?
We should do something like that. What?
I don't know.
For A&P, it's 1401, I think.
Oh, for
Well, it's not 13.3 or 24.
12:31.
Yeah, 14.05 is this one.
Gabby, look at this. Hold on.
Is anybody in here allergic to peanut butter? Because I eat a lot of it. I eat a lot of peanut butter.
I love Pinterest. That's a good idea.
I'm in the nursery program.
My husband said, you don't eat tacos, so nothing to give you food. Where are you getting all those bricks?
It's down there at Dallas. That's the cheapest, that's the cheapest.
Oh, that's cute.
It's real pretty.
Say, well, how's your son today? Uh-huh.
Unless she makes reservations with me, so I know what to do that day. Yeah, we need to.
Right.
I'm scared of that.
Okay, go ahead and finish. I need to call two different doctors because they called it to schedule. One of them wants you scheduled sooner. The other one wants you to meet up again.
Much too soon, much too soon.
Soon, because he wants you there before us.
Whatever y'all want me to do, I'll do. Whatever y'all want me to do, I'll do. I just don't want to.
You don't need that for these two doctors. Okay. Oh. Well, are you ready? Yes.
Yes, it would be,
Or sure you need to call just regular first.
Okay, really cute idea, Gavin. We could give everybody a little bag.
It's really, you just have to call imaging.
Like
Because
this
they're
is
the
like
ones who
heart
schedule.
and stuff, and you have to like make your own
744
body.
7223. That's, and then ask for imaging. And then to schedule your PET scan. And then the next one is Dr. Islam. It's 806-764-747.
Did your syllabus have y'all reading this whole chapter? Or do you just go from birth?
She's going out of town or she's moving or something like that, and they can reschedule you.
For like the stride.
Oh, yeah, we're almost.
You know what I mean? Cause it has like the strips. You can do like 17.
Is there a way that you can be allergic from not peanuts, but peanut,
So you can.
the way that peanut oil is processed? Like you can eat peanuts, but if you eat something fried with peanut oil or something.
Yeah, it just depends on what else you're, maybe the oils may change with processing or the heat. And it's something that when I have, that's what's triggering it. Or if it's been cooked with something that you are allergic to, you don't know.
Okay, because I can eat peanuts, but when I eat fried foods, anything, fries, and it's not every time. And it just started happening about 3-4 years ago, but lately it's getting bad where I have Debbie now. But it's different fried foods, it's different fast foods. I mean, I had Popeyes the other day, and I was driving back home. Well, I ate probably like 15 minutes towards out of Plainview. I had started reacting, and I'm getting highs like that. You know, it's just
Some of it's peanut
high.
oil that they're cooking it in.
Okay.
And then the heat just amplifies it.
Yes, and whenever it's hot, it happens even quicker. And I didn't know that heat makes it worse. So whenever I first started having the reactions, I would go get in the shower. And then
hot
it was
shower, of
like,
course.
oh my God, what did I do?
I bet you're allergic to the peanut oil or something, and then, because not everybody uses those.
Yeah, coconut oil I know for sure.
Really? So it's tree oil, tree nuts.
Yes.
The doctor still can't figure it out. He's done the allergy tests on it.
But like,
Are they allergic to it?
yeah, but my son's 19 months and I haven't found anything yet.
Yeah,
But I
kind of like, don't eat anything.
Yeah. But I have to take like a daily antihistamine just to keep that in my system.
Do you take like Claritin or Zyrtec or?
Claritin I do, I take one that's at night because it makes you sleep. The other one is during the day, it's like Allegra, just during the day.
I would just avoid the fried and see if that makes a difference. You know, like baked goods and stuff.
And that's what it, the Great American Cookie, I broke out with that one.
Because they use that oil too. And peanut oil, everybody's really using that for that. My cousin didn't know. We deep fried a turkey in peanut oil for Thanksgiving. And her lips were like, boom. And we were like, that's not normal. And we were like, what is it? It's just turkey. None of us, you know, the rest of us got sick. And then later she went into this.
And then like I think Retta was saying earlier, that those reactions happen differently. Like sometimes I will react and then it gets worse where I go into anaphylaxis.
Yes, they get worse each time.
It
Sometimes
does.
it's mild, but usually it builds up.
Yes. And I've had it like 4 or 5 times.
Do you have it every
There's a lot of
Keep it with you. Where is it in case we ever need it?
It's in the tall, right?
So you'd be dead before I found your keys and found your car. Okay. I mean, remember Alma didn't tell her family her EpiPen was in the car.
Yeah, no.
Keep it on the girl. For
Yes,
real. Was it just that fast?
it's bad. It's horrible. I don't understand it because I mean, I have so much scratches like in my back where I would scratch so
Have you
bad.
always been allergic to it?
No, it's like I said, it started about 4 years ago.
What changed 4 years ago? Did you have like
I just one day it just
start on different kind
started.
of meds or change your birth control or anything different that was interacting?
But it just like, it's really just, I mean, I've always had fried foods in my life, but you know, now it's just like different restaurants.
Maybe because they changed and started using something different.
Yeah, something, but I mean, I've had reactions with Whataburger, Sonic, and it's just
Here or
fried,
there.
and I don't learn my lesson.
So good. So good. Tastes too good. I don't care if you feel me.
It's just a little bit, and then it just happens.
I like your little question on there.
The last one. See, I thought that was so easy.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody answered yes. I was like, oh, if I get a no, I might be upset.
I'm gonna put unsure.
I should have had that as a choice. That's still under investigation. Thinking about it.
Do you think there's 25 of that?
26.
26 of us?
26 of y'all. That's a good size, though. I like it.
I broke the thing.
Oh, it probably just flips back over.
What is Retta's 14?
Pharmacology.
12, I think.
Oh,
31.
No, she said how hot she is, all of our jackets on. I need some. It's because she's doing all the work. I'm like,
This thing won't do.
I'm more good with like, I'm more good with like researching stuff. I'm not good with creating that. Whatever y'all have me to do, but you talking about a 3D project. I'm just saying. But I know you know the information comes from something. Got our books and we're not getting it.
We were already on. We were already on.
Yeah, yeah.
Look out. This is gonna be good.
Yeah, no, I really wanted to do intestines, because I really wanted to get some little smokies.
Did? Why do you tell her that? And it's gonna be in 2 more weeks. It'll be nice and cool. It'll be perfect.
Yeah.
We're almost done with the skin. We only have a couple more. What I just kind of wanted to tell y'all about was the pressure ulcers, because you'll see that a lot in nursing. And if you haven't ever seen any, I brought my butt. But it's on heels.
I can take a picture of the one on my dad's foot.
Yeah, bring it.
I had her read it, it went all the way to her.
Tunneling.
Yes.
So stage 1 looks just kind of like a little pressure, like maybe I just pushed my thumb down, you know, just like a little red spot. And then stage 2, it's starting to get a little bit deeper, you know, you'll see a little more color. And then stage 3, it's exposing, get down into the tissue, see the sub-Q, the little lumps, the adipose tissue. And then stage 4, it's bad, yeah, you see the bone, and then this one's tunneling. It's actually just eating away, made a tunnel, what they call tunneling. And then stage 5 is starting right here, it's just black.
And those are what ulcers?
This side right here.
Can you
That's the side where they got cut.
Do what? Oh, this is, yeah, this is to show like an incision.
Yeah.
But I just brought it to show y'all kind of the different stages, so you know, 1 is just fairly discolored and it's, the skin's still intact, but then 2, you can see where it's almost like a skin tear, that top layer is gone.
And that unstageable, there's no.
No, they usually have pretty much, they're dead, their body just hasn't died yet. They're just,
Man,
they're
he's
not
not,
healthy.
it was one man that
Blood
had
around.
stuff on his belly, but he didn't even, it wasn't, he didn't have no blood no more. He didn't have it no more. The
All the
cheeks
tissue.
was gone, it was just,
Bone.
so when he always on the butt. When he did that, you gotta hurry up and get it out.
Yeah.
Well,
It's gonna get your whole body. Well, if it's stage 3 or 4, usually the nerves, once the nerves are gone, it's by 4, and then in stage 4, there's no nerves, because it's gone down past, you can see that's just gone down past those, yeah, there's nothing, there's no feeling.
I've seen a sketch from
But yeah, it doesn't hurt after a certain point, because there's no. Sad. And then, like she said, they defecate, and it's just a cabin. Alright, I'm gonna pass this around, and then so we just kind of talked about, like I said, on the moles, know your ABCDs. This is your permission form. I need you to sign it to go on our field trip next 2 Fridays from now. Okay, so know your ABCDs and E's on your moles, because that'll be on your test. And then for pressure ulcers and the butt's going around, we know there's stage 1, 2, 3, 4, and then unstageable, right? Stage 1, and the butt's going around, so you can see it's just over a bony prominence, which means like where there's a bone poking out, you don't have as much fat there. And so it just looks like a little red, mild kind of a bruise almost. Stage 2, you've got a little bit of loss of that dermis, a shallow ulcer opening kind of there on the butt cheek. 3 is full thickness tissue loss, and you can see that sub-Q fat. 4 is full thickness down to the bone. That's right there on that coccyx area on the tailbone. And then 5 is unstable. It's usually black. It's just the wound-based. Y'all need our social services. You don't have to write on it.
I don't know if you already answered this, but are the pressure ulcers always gonna be like in that region?
It's over a bony prominence usually, which is like your hip bone or your tailbone, because there's not a lot of fat there, and that's usually where they're laying. So that bone's hard, right? So it's pressing against the bed, the bone, and then all the body weight. And so it's just like a constant pressure. Like if I came over and held my thumb on your arm as hard as I could for hours at a time, eventually it's cutting off circulation. And so that tissue underneath it doesn't need blood, and so that becomes pressure.
What's the concentration with everybody?
I You don't have to put your social on there. I don't know why that's already decided. It's just if you're giving us permission to go. Does anybody have an extra one? We're one.
Yes.
When you get a sign, sit on it, we'll sit on it, we'll get some giggles, and we'll meet over there for Friday. But I'll remind y'all, because that's 2 weeks from now.
So when we don't come to class that day?
We're gonna be at this thing, unless it gets canceled. I hope not, Chris. I know.
What time is it?
We're not getting it.
So much fun.
It's on break. Like I was hoping when you like baby went out.
Oh, you don't have a form, you can't go. And best part, it's free. Samantha found this field trip for us. Hey, Samantha. So like I said, just know that PQRS, your ABCs, and then your stages of your pressure ulcers, all right? The last thing I just want to talk to you about, and your chapter goes into a lot of depth. It's got really good pictures if you're into that, really gross pictures. But that's where your reading stops, so that's all you're really responsible for this class. But later, it's good to have all that in your head to kind of recognize it, and that way you can practice looking at them. So if you're still doing your medical terminology cards, here's a few words. Anybody know what this one means? Itching. Pruritus. Itching. Pruritus. Anybody got a guess on erythema?
What?
Red, earth means red. So this is red skin, redness. So if you saw redness or erythema, it's redness. I see what you're going with. It's right on this one. This one is like a wheal or a whelp. So if you're having an allergic reaction, this is a wheal, whelp, or hive. So if you're having urticaria, this is where, like, let's say you're allergic to some kind of food and you didn't know it and you start breaking out. You're gonna have, they'll come in, they're having pruritus, obviously they're itching, but they'll have urticaria, which is whelps or hives. Okay, all over them. And they're really dangerous, especially if they're wheezing with whelps and hives. It's closing on the inside too, so they're going to say that EpiPen. Okay.
Urticaria, is that how you say that?
urticaria, urticaria, urticaria. Pass the butt. Only in nursing school. Pass the butt. Okay. That's funny. Oh, and I want to tell y'all, when we were talking about head to toe and head is cephalocephalic, caudal, I told y'all it's like towards the tailbone, it crosses me towards the toe, just towards the bottom of the body. Doesn't making me clarify that, it's keeping me on my toes. So cephalocaudal is head to toe. So caudal could mean, when I said tailbone, like towards the bottom of the body, okay, away from the head. So it could be towards the tailbone, towards the feet, caudal. Okay. All right. So just look, like I said, there's some good, derm terms as you're going through. If you're, going through your book, looking at those pictures, they're really interesting, and they will come in handy. The last thing I kind of want to talk to you about, and it's not in your reading that you're required, but I know that you'll find it interesting. You're gonna enjoy it because you're gonna see it a lot. Is burns. There's a good section in this chapter about burns. We live in an area, the oil field area, where there's always a lot of bad burns. They come into Lubbock, so you may one day be the one that's taking care of them. 400,000 people a year seek medical attention for burns. 400,000 from burns. That's not like cancer that we can't help. It's a burn that just happened. So 40,000 are hospitalized for burns each year, and 3,400 die from a burn. Why do you think they die? Infection. Infection is number one cause. Thermal burns are the most common, like heat from flames, scalds, like hot water or a water heater explodes. That can be a scald and heat. And then non-thermal burns are like electricity, chemical, or radiation burns. So you may have a patient, if you're going to do oncology, where you're taking care of chemo patients, or they have to take radiation. Sometimes it can burn their skin. Okay. Usually they're classified as first, second, third degree, and there's some good pictures on page 1322. And we'll look some up in a little bit too. There's some good ones on YouTube if you're into that. Like,
They gotta show the bill.
1322 and 1323. There's kind of a good section about burns, and I want to tell you just a little bit about it because I know you're going to see it. I know in level 4 you're going to see it, and on your predictor to get out of here, and your NCLEX, and it's on mine. It's called the rule of nines. So that's on page 1322, and then the pictures of the burns on 1323. Okay. So if you'll see on page 1323, you see the little baby's foot.
Yes.
It's probably been submerged in some hot water. Somebody put it down in hot water, and that's a burn. And their little skin just swells up. That was, it's saying superficial partial thickness, so I bet that would be classified as maybe a stage 2 or second degree burn between 1 and 2. Because the skin hasn't completely come off, but it's going to. And then full thickness, the guy's leg or the lady's leg next to it, you can see where it's already burned through the top layers and it's gone down into that third layer. See how here at the very top it's got your epidermis for a superficial or first degree. It's just like a sunburn, top burn. If you were to burn and get a little peeling. The second degree is partial thickness. It's going into that epidermis and dermis, and then a full thickness burn is a really bad one, and it goes down into that subcute. You can see the subcute. So just kind of familiarize yourself with burns because you're going to see them as a nurse, and you're going to have to treat them and take care of them, and they're very, very high risk for infection. They have a burn unit, I think at UMC, and you have to. It's a really good job as a nurse. You're very well paid, reimbursed because it's a very high risk area, and so they make good money, and they're very intelligent nurses. They're real diligent. If you're like type A, and you have to keep everything sterile and things like that, that's the area for you. These people are really, really sick, and they're in pain, so it's a really fun nursing job, but it's a real high stress job. So the way they look at it, and you'll see the little picture of the man in an anatomical position, the rule of nines, okay? This is how when you come in, if you work in emergency or trauma, you'll have to, it's an estimate, because you don't have time when they're burned and their skin is open to sit there with a ruler and all. So they came up with this way to estimate how much of the body's been burned. So it's by 9%. So the whole head itself is 9%. So if it's just the front of their face that got burned, that would be 4.5%. If it was the head, the front and the back of their head, then it's 9%. 9% of the body was burned, just if their head got burned, okay? And it breaks it up for you in that picture. So the arms, the front of the arms, 4.5. The arms are 4.5 total. So if it was just the front or back, and then the chest is 18%. And you can see how they break it up like that. So the chest and the back are 18% each. And the genitalia area is 1%. And then the legs are 9%. Why do you think the legs are 9 and the arms are only 4.5? They're longer. This more surface area that's gotten burned. So you kind of just have to familiarize yourself with that, because this is the question that some of mine got, and they told me they were so glad that we went over that. Because I started not to, and I thought, I remember that being on my test, and I didn't know the answer. So I said, let's just look at this. Sure enough, it came up on one of their tests. So they'll say your patient came in, and they're burned on the front of their face, left arm, left or right lower leg, just the front. They give you a scenario, and then they say, what percentage using the rule of nines would this patient be considered in their burn? So you have to know which area is worth how much percentage in order to calculate it to get the answer. So that's why I said it's important to kind of look over it and just have it straight in your head.
So the leg is all the way around, it wouldn't be the front and back, the whole.
Yeah, the leg, the front is 9% and the back is 9%.
So it'd be 18, so if he has burned front, burned back, it's 18.
And it doesn't matter how the smaller.
Yeah, just the majority of his legs. And like I said, it's an estimate just to give them a percentage, because the higher the percentage rate, the less time you have with them, because they're going to start swelling, and then the inside of their throat's going to start swelling. They're losing heat, because remember, our skin holds our heat in. If we lose it, they're losing heat. They're going to go into hypothermia. You're open for infection, staph, and so you have to act quickly with burn. Okay, so that's just something I wanted to make sure y'all see. And like I said, you're probably not going to be tested on it in this class, but I want you to know it because it's important. You'll see it later. Okay. All right. So that's all we got to do for skin on this lesson. Any questions about any of it? Did everybody get to play with the butt? It's so creepy. Did everybody play with the butt? All right. So as you're, just like I said, go through your book and read and look at all those pictures, and you'll start getting more familiar with them. But I was, kind of starting on those terms. This chapter has a lot of rashes and stuff on it, and a lot of it's skin rashes come up with children. So when you get to peds, you'll go over it again. And here's a good picture on page 1319 of the moles. So give you the ABCDs so you can see like ideas. Get it straight in your head what they all are. All right. So we have plenty of time now. So what we can do is, if you want to work on your body systems projects, if you want to work on some of your other class stuff, like your other papers, the computer lab is open. If you need to do that, you're welcome to do that. Just kind of use this time to study and catch up on things. Do that. I'm going to grade your quiz while y'all are doing that. Okay? No, you're good. You're good.
Will you tell us?
Yeah, I'll tell you.
So we don't have to wait.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Tell us what.
Quiz grade. I'm going to grade them.
Oh.
Oh, here's another term, alopecia. Y'all heard that one? I think I'm spelling it right. Hair loss. I think I have alopecia on my eyebrows from over plucking in the 90s. They're not growing back. That or thyroid issue. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh.